Marc Guehi transfer latest as Liverpool timeline laid out amid new Crystal Palace decision. Liverpool are still seeking a new centre-back, with Marc Guehi a target, and the Crystal Palace captain situation is being monitored amid the possibility of a summer transfer. Marc Guehi in action for Crystal Palace in a pre-season friendly against FSV Mainz 05. Liverpool will be keeping a close eye on Marc Guehi's progress in the coming weeks, with a potential summer transfer still on the cards. The Crystal Palace captain's contract is set to expire in less than 12 months, which could pave the way for a deal either immediately or further down the line. While much attention has been given to Alexander Isak due to the striker's desire to depart Newcastle United, Liverpool is also on the hunt for a new central defender. If both signings come to fruition, the club's spending in the summer of 2025 could reach around the $600 million mark. However, when it comes to Guehi, there's no rush as there's no sign he'll renew his contract at Selhurst Park. He could potentially be available on a free transfer next summer. With just a month left of the summer transfer window, Palace might decide to seize this last-chance opportunity to make some money, even if it means losing their skipper. The England defender will also be weighing up what's best for him, especially with the World Cup just a year away. There's plenty of uncertainty at Selhurst Park that could sway the defender's decision. One of the major stories this summer has been Palace's dispute with UEFA, European football's governing body, over their right to participate in next season's Europa League. Liverpool transfer target Marc Guehi, Oliver Glasner's squad secured their chance to compete when they clinched the FA Cup in May. But UEFA has since accused them of violating multi-club ownership rules due to a minority owner's connection with French club Lyon. Consequently, they may be relegated to the Europa Conference League. However, Palace have not taken this decision lying down and have lodged an appeal with the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Their verdict is expected on Monday, August 11th. Liverpool target. Guehi, along with any other players rumored to be leaving Palace, might be waiting for this new ruling before revealing their plans. The opportunity to shine in a more prestigious competition could give English players an advantage when Thomas Tuchel selects his national team squad. Debut player, preparing for the upcoming season. Interestingly, the season kicks off on Sunday, August 10th at Wembley Stadium, where Liverpool and Palace will face off in the Community Shield game. Glasner confirmed that his captain missed their weekend friendly against Crawley Town due to injury, but this turned out to be a minor issue as the German manager chose to include Guehi in another friendly on Tuesday. Palace played an unusual doubleheader against FSV Mainz 05, with each game lasting just an hour. Glasner had two squads ready for both games, and Guehi playing in the second match, which Palace lost 3-2. Alexander Isak reportedly missing from Newcastle training ground. Alexander Isak's fallout with Newcastle United has taken another shocking turn as it's been reported that the striker is missing from the club's training ground. Eddie Howe's men qualified for the Champions League last season and are preparing for their campaign in Europe's top competition, but are without their star striker, who appears to have gone AWOL, with new details recently coming to light. The Magpies signed Isak from Real Sociedad in 2022, and he's been a hit at St. James's Park. The Swede has scored 62 goals in 109 appearances for Newcastle across all competitions, and is the most prolific forward to represent their club since Alan Shearer. His form didn't go unnoticed, though, and earlier this summer, Liverpool came calling. The club rejected any approach for Isak, and the Reds have since signed Hugo Ekitike. While Newcastle fans will have been hopeful that his arrival would ensure they'd keep hold of their striker, he's since revealed his desire to leave the club. He was left out of their 3-2 preseason loss to Arsenal at the weekend, and he is now absent from the training ground as he tries to force his exit. Shocking new details have emerged. Isak is absent without leave. He's trying to force his exit to Liverpool. While Liverpool may have signed Ekitike for their front line, Arne Slot is still keen on adding Isak, and the striker has now AWOL from Newcastle's training ground, according to TBR Football. The striker recently withdrew from training due to a minor thigh injury, but has since disappeared altogether and told Howe that he will be conducting his own training away from the club's facilities. After Liverpool's approach from Isak was turned down, he requested a staggering £300, $000 a week new contract with the Magpies, and after that was turned down, he's decided he wants out of the club. It would be a huge loss for Newcastle, who have already missed out on several targets in the transfer window this summer. ISAC scored 27 goals in all competitions last season for the club and would be crucial to any success they achieve during the 2025-26 campaign. What Alexander Isak has actually been doing during Newcastle United absence as Liverpool prepare bid. Alexander Isak should be with the Newcastle United squad in South Korea right now, but is nowhere to be seen. Newcastle United's world was rocked when it emerged. Alexander Isak was not traveling to Asia due to a thigh problem. Things then got even more severe when it transpired that Isak wants to leave Newcastle. The 25-year-old has been the talk of the tune ever since, with Eddie Howe speaking about Isak's future upon arrival in South Korea. In the eyes of the Newcastle United manager, they are in control of the situation as he is under contract until 2028. Alexander Isak, training on his own as Newcastle United Tour Asia. As the Newcastle United squad work hard in Asia, Isak is working all by himself. That is according to transfer expert Graham Bailey, who has spoken to Geordie Bootboys to provide an update on Isak's situation since opting against the preseason tour. Alexander Isak is at home, and Newcastle have not seen him since he left training last week, I am told, he said. Isak is undertaking his own training program at this point. What does that mean? Well, it's not ideal. But there is not much Newcastle can do with the main squad and coaches in Asia. Let's see how this plays out. What Liverpool are thinking as they prepare opening Alexander Isak bid. As Bailey says, there is not much Isak can do while Newcastle United are away. It will be interesting to see whether he returns to the Newcastle United training ground when the squad are back from their travels. In the meantime, Liverpool are getting set to make a bid with Geordie Boot. Boys understand that the Reds are prepared to pay more than £120 million to sign Isak, with sporting director Richard Hughes working on an offer that they think will be acceptable. He's Newcastle United. Value Isak at £150 million, which would be a British record transfer fee. There does not appear to be any other suitors for Isak. Al Hilal were linked, but Isak does not want to go to Saudi Arabia. Alexander Isak has already indicated that he might not choose the number 9 shirt at Liverpool. Alexander Isak is desperate to join Liverpool, and he will likely do anything he can to secure the move. When the news broke that the Reds were prepared to make a move for Isak, the whole of social media went into meltdown. Ever since then, the story has gained significant traction, and the transfer has gone from a dream to a genuine possibility. The Reds may have spent almost £300 million already this summer and brought in a striker in the form of Hugo Ekitike, but they are prepared to make one last big move to sign Isak. The Reds have always dreamed of having Isak as their number 9, and this might become a reality, although he has already suggested that he might take a different shirt number instead. Alexander Isak could take the number 14 at Liverpool instead. There is always something so appealing about the big striker donning the number 9 shirt for the club you support, especially if they are such a big name like Isak. However, a lot of pressure comes with wearing that shirt, and at Liverpool, some of the greats have worn it throughout time, including Ian Rush, Robbie Fowler, and Fernando Torres. Despite this, Isak has already hinted that he might not even take the number after performing so well with a different one at Newcastle. I'm doing well, and I'm happy with the number 14, but on the other hand, I know the number 9 is a special shirt, he told Alan Shearer in an interview with BBC Sport. He took the number 14 as a subtle nod to his footballing idol Thierry Henry, who wore it at both Arsenal and Barcelona. If he were to wear this at Liverpool, however, he would have to take it off Italian Federico Chiesa, although the winger might have already departed by the time Isak could arrive. The number 9, of course, is currently occupied by Darwin Núñez, another player who may not be around for much longer. But if they both are, then someone might be left rather upset by the Swedes' arrival. Liverpool should do everything they can to get Alexander Isak. It does not matter how much the transfer fee would cost, how much the agent wants, or even what squad number he would demand. Liverpool need to do everything in their power to get Isak through the door. An opportunity like this one does not arrive very often at all, and after chasing him for so long, this could be their only and final chance. He is the perfect striker for the Reds as he can do everything. He is quick, creative, can use both feet, and is equally adept with his head. At 25, he also still has room for growth. A frightening prospect for a player who is already so talented and has so much experience. Under Arne Slot, and surrounded by the likes of Florian Wirtz and Mohamed Salah, his move is a recipe for success. It is now all down to both clubs finding an agreement. Benjamin Sesko impressed by Man Utd as final price tag confirmed. Benjamin Sesko has reportedly been informed of Manchester United's project. Benjamin Sesko is reportedly impressed by Manchester United after being made aware of Ruben Amorim's long-term plans. A pursuit of a new center forward could lead the Red Devils towards making a formal approach for the RB Leipzig star. United will not be deterred in their search for a new number 9, despite missing out on Liam Delap and Victor Gyökeres. Amorim has already improved his forward line with the additions of Brian Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha. An upgrade through the middle would take United's attack to another level. Sesko reportedly remains a target, but Newcastle are also interested in signing the 22-year-old amid strong speculation that Alexander Isak could leave. According to Sky Germany, United have laid out their project to Sesko and have proposed figures ahead of potential talks over personal terms. The Slovenia international is said to be impressed by United's interest. It is claimed that Leipzig won at least £64 million for the forward. That could mean United have to sell before they can buy, having already spent around £130 million on Mbeumo and Cunha this summer. United have so far struggled to offload a string of fringe players, including Alejandro Garnacho, Antony and Jadon Sancho. Marcus Rashford has only joined Barcelona on loan, with the potential to make the deal permanent for £26 million next summer. Ruben Amorim's Man UTD project has reportedly been made clear to Benjamin Sesko. Sesko has been linked with Europe's biggest clubs ever since he burst into the scene at Red Bull Salzburg as a 16-year-old. He could finally move to the Premier League this summer, with Newcastle reportedly keen on him as a potential ISAC replacement. United boss Amorim insists any player who joins the club this summer will need to be fully invested in his project. He told the club's media channels, "They have to want to come here. I think what we can do to the fans is that we want players who have proved themselves already. Sometimes you have a player with a lot of potential, you have to be aware of that. But all the players that are coming, we need to know the player. We need to talk to the player. We have to explain the project. And then one really important thing is that they want to come here. That is the key point. If during the market we can find someone that can help the team and have all that boxes with them, we are going to do it. If not, we cannot do it because it's an important time in our club.